Well, good Friday evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally, does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. You know, I am doing something for you guys that is very, very painful for me to do, which is to listen to every single Jerry and Stephen Jones update, interview, and all that. I'm doing this. I'm taking the bullet so you don't have to, at least. And, yeah, we're going to talk about this more tonight during our live stream. But I feel like the writing might be on the wall for the Joneses. We got people like Sean Sharif that are saying, blow it up, blow it up, blow it up, start all over and everything else. But here's the thing that, one, I'm not looking at necessarily a great pool of coaches. This isn't like there's Sean Payton that's out there that is, one of the best minds in football that has experience and things like that. We're looking at a bunch of guys, when I think about Cliff Kingsbury, he's a good offensive coordinator, but he wasn't able to do anything with Arizona, right? And so you at least have a guy who's been able to work with the Joneses, bend over backwards for him and so on and things. When I think about Mike Vrabel, he had one of the best running backs in history there and couldn't do much, and even being a one seed there. So I don't know that Mike Vrabel is much different than Mike McCarthy, and now you're starting all over and stuff. So I'm just kind of like, and then there's the other side of this is, do we know that this is a desirable job? This job, when the Cowboys take a week to decide if we're going to fire them, while everybody else is already working on firing, getting coaches and things and doing interviews, you end up being, like they did last time, having to make this decision real quick with less options. It sounds like the Joneses are recognizing this because it literally says, like, what I've heard from Stephen Jones the last day in his interviews is, where he's talking about Mike Zimmer and how much he is. Mike Zimmer earlier in the week was basically like, you want to be wanted. And we know how the Joneses operate. They don't act like they want anybody. So I'm sitting here listening, and the more I listen, the more I feel like the Joneses are trying to do a sales job on Mike McCarthy to come back. Listen to, I'm telling you, listen to this.
Here on 105.3 The Fan, and a good afternoon, sir. How the heck are you?
Hey, we're doing good, guys. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well, and it's a good time to reflect on everything that's happened here over the last 4 months. Is it a misplaced question to say, are you proud of how this team has managed to fight and have a chance to win an 8th game coming up this weekend, considering how much adversity's been there?
Yeah, we've obviously had some challenges, and, hats off to Coach McCarthy and his leadership, and Zim and Bones and the whole staff to keep these guys focused and playing hard. Obviously, last week was a big disappointment, but, when you're playing a little shorthanded like we are with our injury situation, you just can't afford to, have the turnovers that we had, and against one of the best teams in football at their place is going to be hard to come up with a win. But, yes, I think our guys have battled each and every week, and hats off to them. And, defensively we were learning a new scheme the first part of the year. I think Mike was learning our personnel, and vice versa. The personnel was figuring out what Mike wanted out of them. So, at the end of the day, our guys have competed hard. I know, our goal is to win the game next week and our Sunday against the Commanders. And they've had a great year under Coach Quinn. You know what we think of him. And, they're having a great season, but I also like our chances and think our guys will go out there and battle and give themselves every opportunity to win a football game.
Micah was getting poked at again.
Okay, so excuse me. Sorry, been in and out with the cold and stuff here. Does that sound like we're blaming that guy? That we don't want him back? That we're ready to make changes? That sounds like you have made every excuse for this season being the way it was. Hey, the coaches have done a great job. We've been kind of dealt with the shorthanded, with the injuries and this, that, and the other. And, we had some turnovers. And they literally, with Mike Zimmer, Mike Zimmer's done a great job. He had to learn the new personnel, and get used to it and implement a new system. He has literally made the case to bring them back and basically saying, we don't blame you. I don't know how else you take that. Let's go on some more. I haven't heard this whole thing. I just heard that part, and I said, I got to do something with this.
Again, for one of his quotes, he said, if you take away the score, we were right there with them. And, it's kind of, one of those things you could laugh at or not. But going inside the box score, if you look at first downs and third down efficiency and yards, there's something to it. I mean, you guys definitely held your own, I guess, in a lot of ways, other than the scoreboard. Is that like a moral victory, or how do you look at that?
No, I don't look at it as a moral victory. I doubt even Mike thinks of it as a moral victory. I just felt like, if you take away the turnovers, which you can't, by the way. I'm not saying you, but you lose the turnover battle in the NFL, there's a good chance you'll lose that football game. And we know that. We coach not to turn the ball over, obviously, and we coach to get the ball.
We coach that.
And, in our 3 seasons where Mike was 12-5, one of the things we did best was protect the ball and get the ball. And we just hadn't done that quite as well this year, and consequently we hadn't, had the type of season you'd hope to have. But you look at most of the teams with great records in this league, and, 90% of the time I'd bet you they're winning the turnover battles in their football games, and that's just part of it. But, no, I don't think there's any moral victories. I just think you go out there and you battle, and we were driving the ball good the first couple of drives, and but then the turnovers hit, and we gave up some points right there at the end. And then, got to give hats off to them. And Saquon Barkley, he was running hard to get to that 2,000 yards, and what a great season he's had. I'll tip my hat to him. And the Eagles have a good football team, and they played well. They played the game to. Did what they needed to do to win the football game.
Now, speaking of those Eagles, a heated rivalry, even from their former executive, Joe Banner, this week, said other teams are getting more from their coordinators and assistants than the Cowboys. He had a back and forth going with Ed Werder. Do you guys see it that way? I mean, I thought that was kind of unfair criticism from Joe.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's Joe. I mean, he's an ex-Eagle. He's got the right to say what he wants to say. We worry about what we can control, what we can do. I like our group. I like Mike McCarthy. I like Coach Schottenheimer, and I love Zim. I mean, they're all proven guys in this league. And, if people want to be critical, I guess, when you have the record we have, which is not a winning record, then people have the right to be critical of you. But we worry about what we can control and what we can do about it.
There's a lot of potential turnover. You got a ton of impending free agents. You've mentioned the coaching staff and the contracts, but do you expect there to maybe be turnover in the personnel department within the scouting staff and Will McClay's deal as well?
Yeah, no. I mean, we like everything about our personnel staff. We've, I think most people, when they
Hold on. Wait. He just said, we like everything about our personnel and staff.
rank rosters, to start the season. I think most people would say that we've had, one of the better rosters in the league for the past, for that matter, for the past 10 years. And I think Will's done a great job. I think his scouting staff's done a great job. And don't expect turnovers. But, right now we're worried about beating the Commanders.
We'll get
into, all the detail of what our organization, where we can be better, because, we have to be better. I mean, we didn't get the job done this year.
We did not get the job done.
Jerry, myself, the whole organization will look for ways to improve because it's unacceptable. I know it is to our fans. I know it is, in the building, to finish with the tie. We're going to end up with a losing record, and that's not certainly not what we think the Dallas Cowboys are all about.
With trying to beat the Commanders on Sunday, do you expect Trey Lance to start?
We'll see. I mean, obviously, we're doing everything. We're going to do what gives us the best chance to win the game. And Mike McCarthy will make that call. We've been practicing, hard all week, and certainly he's more open-minded than he's been to it. And in terms of, who's going to give us the best chance to win the game Sunday, and he'll ultimately make that call, and we'll see.
It's Stephen Jones here with you on 105.3 The Fan. Do you feel like the decision on Mike needs to be made fairly quickly next week to give him a chance to talk to other teams that might be interested?
We'll address that next week.
I like it. Okay, Stephen Jones here with you on 105.3 The Fan. What do you think of the fans who are saying, yes, I love to see us win, but this first round is shallow, and that 8th win might push us out of the top half of the first round? Do you fault them for actually hoping the Cowboys lose a game?
I mean, obviously people look at that. I mean, our fans aren't the first fans to look at that, and you certainly understand it. But at the same time, we're in this to win football games, and
to win it.
But totally understand fans who say, "Hey, it'd be great to have a better pick," and I get that. But I'll tell you this: we're about winning football games, and we've been about that even when we were. When we were really behind the 8 ball, and I think our players have shown that they've competed every step of the way, and they'll go out there against the Commanders and expect to win that football game, and they'll do their best to win it, and they'll compete at a high level.
Hey, Stephen, we're not going to get a chance to talk to you for a while here, but I want to ask you, what's something in the media that we get really wrong about the salary cap?
Oh shit!
I just think people don't. At the end of the day, I think the biggest thing people don't understand is the ability, to push things forward, and how much a team is doing that already versus, hey, they could have done this, they could have done that differently. I think it's just wrong. I mean, we certainly understand, pushing money forward. We do it all the time. You read it in the paper all the time where we rework our top, but there's only our top contracts on our roster, but there's only so many top contracts you can rework. The rookie contracts are, as you know, Brian, are minimal.
Sure.
And then we have a lot of players on our team that are veteran salary benefit type players. So at the end of the day, there's only 6, 7, 8 contracts that you can rework, and you can probably get them all in quick order in terms of where you go to create that space. I mean, we reworked Dak every step of the way of his $40 million contract, and we'll be reworking it again throughout on his $60 million contract in terms of pushing, the payday out. And a little bit that's our problem right now, Brian, is we're not only paying for his current 60, but we're also having to pay. We're still paying for the part of the $40 million contract that we pushed out.
And
I think sometimes people just, don't quite get their hands around that, but that's understandable.
Sure.
But I think Jerry well enough. He's in this and more motivated than anybody I can think of to win a Super Bowl right now. And he's not going to be pulling the reins in on trying to hold back on trying to put a Super Bowl type put a Super Bowl team on the field. He doesn't have forever to win a championship. And Brian, you know him well enough.
Yeah.
He'd trade a lot of things, including a whole lot of money, if you could do it to win a Super Bowl.
So where we do really get it wrong, Steve, is when we start talking about flipping switches and stuff.
So wait a minute, hold on. Is he just saying that we're not holding back? Is that Stephen Jones's version of we're all in? What?
Stuff like that. That's where we lose really track of this. Is that fair? I mean, we try and play amateur cap guys, and we're not very good at this.
Yeah, I just think that unless you're looking at it, and by the way, I'm sure there's many folks who would understand it in a second if they're looking at it.
Right.
And they would see real quickly. I could sit down with you. I know you, Brian, and you'd get it in 5 minutes if I showed you our cap situation.
Right.
And where we would go to create space. And, we've pretty much maximized all the space. But then as you create that space and you push it out, then there comes a time where you have a day of reckoning when you eventually have to have a roster where, you just don't have the roster, and you not unlike Denver's doing, but hats off to them. They're doing it with a rookie quarterback, but they're having to eat the Russell Wilson contract right now. Mm-hmm. But they've done one hell of a job of doing it.
Well, hell of a job this year, Stephen. Thanks for another season with us. We've enjoyed the heck out of these chats, and give them hell. We'll be pulling for you.
Great being on with you guys.
Hell of a job. That's a hell of a job you've been doing there, Stephen. Yeah. Okay. Couple of things there that, typically, he usually says, well, I've never known a time that Jerry wasn't all in, but now he said, we're not holding back on the reins. And he did say we will be using Dak Prescott. Now, if I'm going to talk, and I've got my show here in about an hour, this is kind of interesting. This will be kind of important to watch this, because if we can take Stephen Jones, and I will say Stephen Jones, he usually doesn't lie to you. He pretty much will tell you, we're not going to be a player in free agency, and they're not. He'll tell you, we like our own guys, and we do, and as long as they don't want a whole bunch of money. But it seems like he's kissing the ass of the Jones. He's kissing the ass of Mike McCarthy and, those guys to try and make it so they come back. Maybe Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer, playing the sad role that we're leaving, is scared the shit out of the Joneses because they know that there's nobody that wants this shit sandwich of a job. All right, good people. Whoa, that's some new shit right there. All right, I'll see you guys at 9 o'clock. Shit's about to get crazy in here. In your ear, the Dallas Cowboys.